Today, we're counting down the best explosive weapons in 7 Days to Die. Now, we've got a lot of info to cover and no time to waste, so let's get to it. Explosives. They really can be so much fun to use against the zombie jerks. Every single time a zombie steps on a landmine and sends him or herself flying, I can't help but chuckle. And explosives in this game can be highly effective at slaying them zombie jerks. However, they can also be just as dangerous to the player. So today we're going to count down the top 5 best explosive weapons in 7 Days to Die. Now this list was a little tricky because what criteria do you use to judge such volatile weapons? Well, for the purposes of this list, I have broken it down into 3 categories. We're going to judge these weapons on number 1, their versatility, number 2, their effectiveness at slaying them zombie jerks, and number 3, the crafting cost. I'll break down each entry on this list based on those 3 criteria and explain exactly why I rank them the way that I do. But before we jump into this list, I did want to make a quick announcement. You folks have been asking me for months to get this up and going, and I finally have. The Saven's World merch shop is now open. There are several awesome designs for you to choose from, so head on over to shop.spreadshirt.com/Saven's World and get yourself some awesome merch. It is a great way to help support the channel, and I truly do appreciate your support. But now, on to the list. Let's kick this list off with number 5. Landmines. Now right off the bat, I did have to mention that yes, I did kind of group all landmines into one entry. That's because my feelings on landmines do not change depending on which landmine we're talking about. Landmines are just not very versatile weapons whatsoever. I would not use landmines while looting POIs, and landmines do not make for very effective horde night weapons as well. While yes, a landmine will more than likely kill any zombie jerk that steps on it, once it does go boom, that is it for the landmine. These weapons are one and done. Plus, when a zombie steps on a landmine and gets blown to Kingdom Come, their dead bodies can also set off surrounding landmines if they land on them. Plus, the splash damage from the landmine itself can cause other landmines to go off as well. So even laying out an entire field of landmines does not protect you against the zombie jerks. It may be effective at taking out the first couple of waves, but once the zombies clear a path through your minefield, they will follow that path and completely ignore all of the other landmines you may have placed down. That's basically like just taking your resources and chucking them on the ground. Speaking of resources, landmines have an extremely high crafting cost, especially when you take into consideration their usefulness. Since they have such low versatility and such low overall effectiveness, it is really not worth spending your hard-earned resources crafting landmines. There are much better things to spend your resources on. But like I said in the opening, folks, every single time a zombie jerk steps on a landmine and sends him or herself flying, I can't help but chuckle. But when it comes to explosive weapons, there are much better choices than the landmine. Let's move on to number 4. The contact grenade. Now this explosive weapon I absolutely love. And one of the reasons I love the contact grenade so much is because there is no fuse time. All you have to do is pull the pin, chuck the grenade, and it will explode as soon as it makes contact with the zombie jerks. Now I do feel it is important for me to mention that since the contact grenade explodes on contact, that means contact with anything. And since this is a thrown weapon, the contact grenade follows an arc, meaning if you're going to be throwing a contact grenade, make sure that you don't have anything above you when you do toss that grenade. Otherwise, instead of blowing the zombie jerks to Kingdom Come, you will blow yourself to Kingdom Come. That being said, the contact grenade has some pretty awesome stats. This weapon will deal 310 explosion damage with an explosion radius of 5. That is enough damage from one grenade to kill most low-level and mid-tier zombies, making the contact grenade highly effective at slaying them zombie jerks. Now, once again, I wouldn't use contact grenades while looting POIs, but that pattern's gonna hold true for almost every single entry on this list. However, the contact grenade is excellent on Horde Night. Make yourself a simple fall pit base like this one here. Wait until that pit gets filled with a whole bunch of zombie jerks, toss in a couple of grenades, and watch the jerks go flying. Now, one downside to the contact grenade is the crafting recipe. In order to craft a contact grenade, you will need 2 mechanical parts, 14 gunpowder, 4 forged iron, and 1 spring. You also need to sink a whopping 5 points into Demolitions Expert in order to open up contact grenade crafting. That being said, high crafting cost and a much higher chance to actually blow yourself up aside, the contact grenade is an excellent explosive weapon in 7 Days to Die. Let's move on to number 3. The rocket launcher. I think it is safe to say that when it comes to effectiveness at slaying them zombie jerks, it does not get any better than the rocket launcher. This weapon is absolutely devastating. It can easily kill an entire pack of zombie jerks with just one shot. The rocket launcher shooting rocket frag ammo will absolutely obliterate any zombie jerk in the blast radius. Highly effective at slaying them zombie jerks is putting it lightly. So you may be asking, if it's so effective at slaying the zombies, why is it only number 3 on this list? Well, to answer that question, we have to take a look at the other 2 categories: versatility and crafting cost. With regards to versatility, the rocket launcher is much more versatile than the landmine or the contact grenade, primarily because it is much easier to aim your shot with a rocket launcher. However, it is not nearly as versatile as the number 2 and number 1 entry on this list. And next we have to look at crafting cost, and I'm speaking primarily about the ammunition crafting cost. And unfortunately, the crafting cost for rocket frag ammunition is extremely high. In order to craft yourself 1 round of rocket frag ammunition, it will cost you 25 buckshot, 15 gunpowder, 2 duct tape, 500 gas cans, and 1 rocket casing. That is not cheap. So yes, every shot from your rocket launcher may be highly effective, but it is also extremely expensive. That being said, having the ability to take out an entire group of zombie jerks with 1 shot is awesome. And the rocket launcher can make a pretty effective Horde Night weapon as well. Build yourself a simple killing corridor like this, let the zombie jerks pour down the tunnel, and just fire rocket after rocket after rocket down that hole and watch the zombies go flying. The rocket launcher is an absolutely awesome explosive weapon in 7 Days to Die. Now let's move on to number 2. Exploding bolts. The compound crossbow is quickly becoming one of my favorite weapons in 7 Days to Die. This weapon is extremely versatile. If you're running a stealth build, it is an excellent weapon for clearing POIs. However, this list is about explosives. Well, thankfully, this game allows you to craft exploding crossbow bolts, which are pretty effective at taking out groups of zombies. Now, granted, the exploding bolts are not quite as effective as the contact grenade or rocket launcher, as sometimes it does take a couple of explosions to take out the zombie jerks. However, hitting the zombies with an exploding crossbow bolt will at least knock that zombie down on his or her butt. So if the first shot doesn't kill the zombie, it will more than likely knock the zombie down, giving you plenty of time to reload and fire another bolt. This ammo type can also make the crossbow an effective Horde Night weapon. Just build yourself a simple killing corridor. Watch as the zombie jerks pour down the tunnel, and you just go ahead and fire exploding bolt after exploding bolt down that tunnel and send the zombies flying. Another benefit of the exploding bolts is the crafting cost, which is relatively low in comparison to some of the other crafting recipes for explosives. In order to craft a bolt, all you need is 1 steel arrowhead, 2 scrap polymer, 8 gunpowder, and 1 duct tape. While yes, it's not the cheapest recipe in 7 Days to Die, in comparison to other explosive recipes, it is honestly not too bad. The only major downside to crafting the exploding bolts is that you do have to find a specific book in order to open up the crafting recipe. You need to find yourself Ranger's Guide to Archery Volume 2. So if you're looking for a relatively versatile explosive that has decent effectiveness and a relatively low crafting cost, the exploding bolts are for you. When it comes to explosive weapons, the exploding bolts are awesome. Now it's time for the absolute best #1 explosive weapon in 7 Days to Die, the pipe bomb. Now this entry on the list might actually surprise some of you folks out there. You may be asking, why the heck is the pipe bomb #1 on this list? I mean, for instance, let's just take a look at the stats of this weapon. It does 230 explosion damage, which is much less than the grenades or the rocket launcher. It has an explosion radius of 4, and it also has a fuse time of 4 seconds. So at first glance, the pipe bomb may not seem too impressive. However, the pipe bomb is probably the most powerful overall explosive in the game. While 230 explosion damage may not seem like a lot, it is enough to take out a majority of zombies in the game. Plus, one thing to keep in mind is that explosives set off other explosives. So you can always throw down a few pipe bombs, light the fuse on the last one, toss it in, and blow up a whole bunch of them at the same time. For instance, these things are excellent on Horde Night. All you have to do is build yourself a simple fall pit base, wait till the zombie jerks pool down in the bottom, toss down a couple of unlit pipe bombs, then toss in a lit pipe bomb, and watch the fireworks, folks. All you really need is 4 unlit pipe bombs and 1 lit pipe bomb to take care of any zombie in the game. That includes the demo. Not only that, you are able to kill multiple zombies at the same time. With a mere 5 pipe bombs total, you can take out an entire pit of zombies. That is awesome. And here comes the major advantage of the pipe bomb. The crafting cost on these bad boys is absolutely ridiculous. All it takes to craft up a pipe bomb is 1 plant fiber, 12 gunpowder, and 1 short iron pipe. That is it, which means you can craft up a whole bunch of pipe bombs, which you can then toss around freely to send the zombie jerks flying. Add on top of that it takes only a single point into Demolitions Expert in order to open up crafting. That means you can actually open up pipe bomb crafting on day 1. And as we said, the crafting recipe is extremely low. Doesn't take any rare items whatsoever to craft up a pipe bomb. So a decent versatility level, a decent effectiveness level, and an extremely low crafting cost level make the pipe bomb the absolute best explosive weapon in 7 Days to Die. These things are absolutely awesome. The explosive weapons in 7 Days to Die are so much fun. Whether it's watching a zombie jerk step on a landmine, shooting a rocket launcher or exploding bolt into a crowd of zombies, or if it's watching these zombies fill your fall pit base to capacity, tossing in a few pipe bombs, and making yourself some zombie popcorn. When the explosions hit and the zombies go flying, I can't help but chuckle. It is absolutely awesome. Now, you do have to be careful with explosive weapons because you can have a tendency of blowing yourself up alongside the zombie jerks, but when used right, the explosives in 7 Days to Die can really make for a good time. Now, if you'd like to see some more list videos for the best weapons in 7 Days to Die, I've created a very special playlist that you can access by clicking the box in the top right corner of the screen. But for now, this is Saven saying thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me in Saven's World. And remember, the average gamer is always king of the hill on the bell curve.